The Ohor knelt on the ground, sifting through the loose dirt that lay there. After raising a finger to its mouth, the men noticed the illumination beneath its hood. A hand reached up, sliding the heavy cowl from its head. Turan had not expected the Ohor to be female. In all the occurrences penned, only males bore this mark. The Ohor's head was shaved on both sides, with the glyphs extending from the crest on her forehead down her cheeks and on each side of her head. Her straight black hair was fastened with mere stones hanging from its end. When she peered up at them, he noticed one eye was emerald and the other crimson. The glyphs flashed, causing her honeyed skin to shimmer. The Ohor's frame gave little hint to the power they knew she possessed. To most, she would look like nothing more than a young girl. The Kionzi and the Uzan knew her to be as aged as the wood itself. "You are Ohor," Turan finally said.
"Are we not all Ohor, Uzan? This is who we are. It is who we have always been."
She struck the ground with her staff, causing a wave of energy to surge beneath their feet. Thick vines erupted all about them, entangling their ankles.
"Do you fear me, Kionzi?"
"I do not fear you, Cyiir of Ohor. You are no threat to these lands or those who inhabit it."
"You know this? The ones before you have feared, and with good cause. Do you think yourself superior?"
Avix did not flinch.
"It was not fear, Ohor. We recognize your importance and your power. The Ohor do not destroy. You are no enemy to the Guardians or those of Afaria."
"And what of you, Uzan? Malachi has shielded the threshold, and we cannot pass."
The vines crept further up their legs as she glided closer. "Droku Malachi does not fear you. He understands your nature, as do I. He will not allow the disruption. You offer nothing to aid in this, and there is much to prepare." A grin creased her lips.
"It is more than you know."
Ohor placed a hand on the tree nearest her. Her eyes closed as the glyphs pulsed.
"The effects of this shift penetrate all about us. This wood is ancient and wise, as the seven you now worship. You do not know, because you do not hear. It is called out to us."
"Then you know what is to come?"
Avix asked.
"Indeed, conduit of the Guardians, as do you. Albeit, you know only what your paltry intellect can comprehend. It is there, yet you do not see,"
she said, noticing subtle movement in the distance.
"The cries of the wood ring loudly in our ears. Unlike those of these lands, they are pure and uncorrupted."
"Not all in the lands are as such," Avix said as the vines crept further up his torso. "The Guardians work to protect those of these lands as you stay far removed from it."
"These lands are all that concern the Ohor. Those poisoning it are not."
Ohor raised her palm toward the men, causing the intricate glyphs to glow. When Avix's eyes glimmered, she shifted, sending a burst of energy behind them, ensnaring Shintayo and Zal.
"Those of Xiandru are powerful, but more will be needed. This darkness will not be allowed to penetrate the purity of that we protect. Your guardians grow weak as they remain here in aid to inferior beings. Their children have returned, and so should they, to the spirit realm. The encasements they inhabit obscure all that they are, what they have always been. More sacrifices of the Atharians will be necessary to sustain them. They are spirit and energy, and cannot remain. Their essence dwells within all things, and must be set free. You do more harm by not releasing them to the spirit realm. The lives of those in the land do not compare to that of the spirits.
The Guardians will return to their home as they always have. Unlike the Ohor, they will not leave us to this fate.
If the darkness is summoned, we will return.
Already Masak inhabits one of these lands. The darkness surrounds us.
Ohor replaced her cowl as the vines encircled the necks of the two men.
There are darker entities of the realms attempting to conquer these lands. Can't do it. Already the passage has been breached. Your guardian should commune with the trees about them and learn of it. As one, they would see. Separate, the connection lessens. The realms are no longer aligned. You feel the imbalance, yet you do not understand. It is not only Sanctium where the threat lives, but it is also in the Shadowkin and beyond.
As Avix attempted to speak, the vines tightened around his throat, cutting off his words. The Ohor wrapped her staff to the ground and exposed the glyphs on her arm. She raised a hand, placing it on the ancient tree. With a flash of light, the large trunk appeared to shift, with waves of energy emanating from within.
This is only the beginning,
Ohor warned before stepping through the disruption.